She was crying in my office again.
Third session this month. Same story. Her husband was distant, cold, hadn't touched her in weeks. Their marriage, 15 years, 2 kids, was disintegrating. I don't know what I did wrong, Amanda said through tears. We were happy. We were fine. Then something shifted. I handed her the tissue box, the same box I'd handed to 18 clients this year, the same story I'd heard over and over.
When did you first notice the distance?
I asked. After we started seeing Dr. Stevens for couples therapy, my pen stopped mid-note. Dr. Stevens? Dr. Richard Stevens, fellow therapist, office 2 floors down in this same building, specializes in couples therapy. Good reputation, published author. 20 years of practice. You and your husband are seeing Dr. Stevens together? I asked. We were. Michael stopped going 3 weeks ago. Said therapy was making things worse. Now he wants a divorce. I should have let it go. Should have focused on Amanda's grief, her confusion, the marriage falling apart in front of her. But something in my chest tightened, because this was the 3rd time. 3rd client this year who'd seen Dr. Stevens for couples therapy. 3rd marriage that collapsed immediately after. Amanda, I said carefully, after Michael stopped going to Dr. Stevens, did anything else change? She looked up, eyes red, mascara streaked down her face. He started seeing someone. I found the text 2 days ago. Of course he did. Do you know who? Her name is Vanessa. That's all I know. Michael said he met her at a conference. But I don't believe him. The timeline doesn't match. I kept my face neutral. Professional, compassionate. Inside, my thoughts were racing. 3 clients, 3 marriages to Dr. Stevens, 3 divorces, 3 affairs. Could be coincidence. Marriage therapy fails sometimes. People meet new partners during separations, but something felt wrong. I pulled out my phone after Amanda left, scrolled through my client notes from the past year. Jennifer Morrison came to me in March after her marriage ended. She'd been seeing Dr. Stevens for couples therapy. Her husband left her for someone named Vanessa. Vanessa. Same name Amanda just mentioned. I opened Jennifer's file, read my notes from her sessions. Husband became distant after starting couples therapy. Met someone new within weeks of separation. Feels blindsided. Marriage seemed salvageable until therapy began. I pulled up another file. Catherine Wu. Saw Dr. Stevens last fall. Same pattern. Husband grew distant during therapy. Stopped sessions. Filed for divorce. Started dating someone new immediately. 3 marriages, 3 failures, 3 affairs, all after seeing Dr. Stevens. All 3 women came to me for individual therapy afterward. Devastated, confused, grieving marriages that seemed to implode overnight. I sat at my desk, staring at the notes. 22 years as a therapist. I've seen marriages fail. I've seen affairs. I've seen therapy make things worse before making them better. The 3 identical patterns? 3 women with the same story? That's not coincidence. That's something else. I should have gone home, should have let it be someone else's problem, but I kept thinking about Amanda's face, the confusion, the betrayal. I don't know what I did wrong, because she didn't do anything wrong. I pulled up Dr. Stevens' website. Professional photo. Warm smile. Specializing in couples therapy and relationship restoration. Listed credentials, PhD in clinical psychology, licensed marriage and family therapist, published author of Saving Love, A Therapist's Guide to Marriage. I'd met him twice. Both times at Washington State Psychological Association conferences. Polite, professional, talked about evidence-based interventions, quoted research. Nothing about him seemed suspicious. But 3 identical patterns. I needed more information. I pulled up my client database, searched for anyone who'd mentioned Dr. Stevens in their sessions. 5 results. 5 clients in the past 18 months who'd either seen Dr. Stevens themselves or had partners who had. Jennifer Morrison, husband saw Stevens for couples therapy, marriage ended, husband started affair. Catherine Wu, same pattern. Amanda, current client. Same pattern. Then 2 more names I'd forgotten about. Rebecca Sanchez came to me last year for anxiety, mentioned in passing that her marriage had ended after couples therapy with some therapist downtown. I pulled her intake form, therapist name Dr. Richard Stevens. And Sarah Chen, divorce trauma, session notes from 8 months ago, Ex-husband insisted on couples therapy, saw Dr. Stevens for 3 months, marriage deteriorated rapidly, he left for another woman. 5 clients, 5 marriages to Dr. Stevens, 5 divorces, 5 affairs. My hands felt cold. This wasn't therapy failure. Therapy doesn't fail identically 5 times. This was something else. I picked up my phone, called Jennifer Morrison. We'd terminated therapy 6 months ago, but I had her number for emergencies. Jennifer, this is Dr. Hartwell. I hope I'm not bothering you. I wanted to ask about something from your sessions. Of course. Is everything okay? You mentioned your ex-husband started seeing someone during your separation. Do you remember her name? Pause. Vanessa something? I never met her. Why? Vanessa. Did your ex ever mention how he met her? He said through a friend, some guy he met at therapy, I think. They bonded over their divorces. My pulse quickened. A friend from Dr. Stevens' therapy sessions? Maybe. I don't know. I wasn't part of that world anymore. I thanked her and hung up. Then called Catherine Wu. Catherine, quick question. Did your ex-husband mention how he met his new girlfriend? No, but I know he was spending time with some guy he met through therapy. They'd go out for drinks. He said the guy understood what he was going through. Do you remember the guy's name? No, just that they met through Dr. Stevens somehow. I hung up.
Sat there in my office as the sun set outside my window.
5 marriages, all saw Dr. Stevens, all ended in affairs. Multiple affairs with someone named Vanessa. Husbands meeting a friend through therapy who introduced them to new women. A friend they met through Dr. Stevens. This wasn't coincidence anymore. This was a pattern. I opened my laptop, Googled Dr. Richard Stevens, Seattle therapist. His website came up first. Professional, polished, testimonials from happy couples. Then I tried a different search. Dr. Richard Stevens complaints. Nothing. Dr. Richard Stevens ethics violations.
Nothing.
I tried social media, found his LinkedIn. His Facebook was private. His Instagram professional account, mostly quotes about love and relationships. But one photo caught my eye. Posted 3 months ago, Dr. Stevens at a charity gala. Caption, wonderful evening, supporting mental health advocacy with dear friends. He was standing with 2 other people, a woman in a red dress, and a man. The man looked familiar. I zoomed in. Mid-40s, expensive suit, confident smile. I'd seen that face before. Where? I pulled up Jennifer Morrison's Facebook, scrolled through her photos, found one from before her divorce, a group photo at a restaurant. There, in the background, the same man from Dr. Stevens' photo. He was sitting at a table with Jennifer's ex-husband. I went to Catherine Wu's Facebook, scrolled, found a photo from a year ago. Catherine at a coffee shop, and in the background, the same man sitting across from someone who looked like Catherine's ex-husband. Same man, in both photos, with both husbands. The man Dr. Stevens called a dear friend. I screenshotted all 3 photos, put them side by side. No question, same person. So Dr. Stevens had a friend who was photographed with at least 2 of the husbands whose marriages Dr. Stevens had counseled. A friend who introduced those husbands to someone named Vanessa. I needed to know who this man was. I reverse image searched the photo from Dr. Stevens' Instagram. It pulled up a hit, a website for a tech startup. The man's name Marcus Webb, co-founder and CTO of a software company. I clicked through to his LinkedIn. Marcus Webb, 44 years old, Seattle native, University of Washington grad. And in his connections, Dr. Richard Stevens, friends since 2003, according to a Facebook photo tag. College roommates, maybe? Longtime friends? I kept digging. Found Marcus's Instagram, public account, lots of photos, nightlife, restaurants, women, lots of different women. And then I found a photo from 2 months ago, Marcus at a bar with a blonde woman, caption, great catching up with V. The woman's face wasn't fully visible, but her tag was public, at Vanessa Royce. I clicked through. Vanessa Royce, 34 years old, Seattle, real estate agent, according to her bio. Beautiful, professional photos, glamorous lifestyle. And in her followers, 3 accounts I recognized: Jennifer Morrison's ex-husband, Catherine Wu's ex-husband, Amanda's husband, Michael. All 3 men followed Vanessa Royce. I sat back in my chair, felt sick. Dr. Richard Stevens was a marriage counselor, a therapist people trusted with their most intimate problems. And he was sabotaging their marriages deliberately, systematically. Then his friend Marcus was introducing the husbands to Vanessa. But why? I opened a new tab, searched Vanessa Royce Real Estate Agent, Seattle. Her professional website came up, headshot, list of properties, client testimonials. I scrolled down to recent sales.
$2 million house in Magnolia. Client, Jennifer Morrison's ex-husband.
A $49 million condo in Queen Anne. Client, Catherine Wu's ex-husband. Both sales in the past 6 months. I checked property records for Amanda's husband, Michael. He just purchased a $3.2 million house in Madison Park. Realtor Vanessa Royce. My hands were shaking now. This wasn't just sabotage. This was a business. Dr. Stevens sabotages marriages. Marcus introduces the husband to Vanessa, a beautiful, available woman who just happens to be a real estate agent. Husband falls for Vanessa. Files for divorce. Buys expensive new bachelor pad. From Vanessa. Who gets commission? I did the math. $2.84K commission at 3%.
$1 sale, $57K commission.
322M sale, dollars, sale, 96K commission. Just from 3 sales, $237 in commissions. For destroying 3 marriages. If Vanessa was splitting that with Marcus and Dr. Stevens. I pulled up my client notes again. 5 women, 5 failed marriages, 5 affairs. If all 5 ex-husbands bought houses through Vanessa, I spent the next hour searching property records. Rebecca Sanchez's ex-husband purchased 2.1M house 8 months ago, Realtor Vanessa Royce. Sarah Chen's ex-husband purchased 2.6M house 7 months ago, Realtor Vanessa Royce. 5 ex-husbands, 5 expensive property purchases.
Total sales 12.6 million.
Total estimated commissions, $378,000. Split 3 ways, $126,000 each. Dr. Stevens made $126,000 from destroying 5 marriages. While billing insurance and clients for couples therapy, I felt dizzy. This was fraud. This was ethics violations on a scale I'd never seen. But how was he doing it? How do you sabotage a marriage from inside couples therapy? I thought about Amanda's words after we started seeing Dr. Stevens. Then something shifted. What happens in couples therapy? You share your deepest fears, your resentments, your vulnerabilities. A good therapist helps you work through them. But a bad therapist could weaponize them. Your wife doesn't appreciate you. Your husband takes you for granted. You deserve better. Plant seeds of doubt. Water them with resentment. Watch the marriage wither. Then Marcus appears. My friend knows someone who really understands what you're going through. Enter Vanessa. Beautiful, attentive, available, everything the wife supposedly isn't. Affair begins. Marriage ends. Divorce happens. By the way, I'm also a real estate agent. Let me help you find a place.
2 by Lakeside $10 $10.
It was elegant, horrible, and elegant. I needed proof. I needed to know how Dr. Stevens was sabotaging these marriages. But I couldn't just accuse him. He'd deny everything. Lawyer up, destroy my credibility. I needed evidence. I needed to see him in action, which meant I needed to become a client. I picked up my phone, texted my husband. Can we talk tonight? I think we need help. He responded 20 minutes later. Everything okay? I stared at the message. We'd been married 11 years. Good marriage. Not perfect. Whose is? But solid. We fought sometimes. Had stress. 2 careers. Busy lives. Normal marriage problems. But if I was right about Dr. Stevens, if he could take a normal marriage with problems and destroy it for profit, then I needed to know how, even if it meant putting my own marriage in his hands. I typed back, I think we should try couples therapy. My husband called immediately. Lisa, what's going on? Did something happen? No. I think we could use some help. We've been distant lately. Which was true. Sort of. We'd been busy, stressed, less connected than we used to be. Normal. Fixable. But Dr. Stevens didn't fix marriages. He broke them. Okay, my husband said slowly. If you think it'll help, do you have someone in mind? I closed my eyes. This was insane. This was potentially destroying my own marriage to catch a predator. But 5 women had sat in my office crying. 5 marriages destroyed. 5 families shattered. For money. Someone had to stop him. I heard good things about a therapist named Dr. Richard Stevens, I said. My husband was quiet for a moment. Okay, set it up. I'll make time. After we hung up, I sat at my desk in the dark office. What was I doing? I'm a therapist. I know better than anyone how fragile marriages are, how easily they can be damaged, how trust, once broken, is almost impossible to repair. And I was about to walk into a room with a man who specialized in breaking that trust, with my own marriage as bait.
But 5 women trusted me with their pain.
5 women thought therapy would help their marriages, and Dr. Stevens used that trust to destroy them. I picked up my phone one more time, searched for Dr. Stevens' contact, found his scheduling page.
Available appointment next Tuesday, 6 p.m.
I booked it. Confirmation email arrived instantly. Looking forward to meeting you both, Nyan or Dr. Stevens. I stared at the email. In 5 days, I'd be sitting in his office, pretending my marriage needed help.
While he tried to destroy it.
And I'd be watching, listening, documenting every word. Because Dr. Richard Stevens had made $126,000 destroying 5 marriages, he wasn't going to make $1 from mine. The question was, could I prove what he was doing before he succeeded? Or would I become victim number 6? I locked my office, walked to my car, drove home through Seattle rain. My husband was in the kitchen when I arrived, making dinner. He smiled when he saw me. Hey, you okay? You sounded upset on the phone. I looked at him. 11 years of marriage. Good years, hard years, real years. And I was about to gamble all of it on catching a predator. I'm okay, I said. Just been a long day. He kissed my forehead. Therapy will help. Tuesday, right? Tuesday. 5 days until I walked into Dr. Stevens' office. 5 days to prepare. 5 days to figure out how to catch a marriage killer without becoming his next victim. I didn't sleep that night because I kept thinking about Amanda's face when she told me about Vanessa, and Jennifer's voice when she said, I don't know what I did wrong, and Catherine's tears when she described her marriage falling apart. They didn't do anything wrong. Dr. Stevens did, and in 5 days, I was going to prove it. Tuesday arrived faster than I wanted. I sat in my car outside Dr. Stevens' building, hands gripping the steering wheel. My husband would arrive any minute. We'd agreed to meet here. I had a recording app on my phone, not admissible in court. Washington is a 2-party consent state, but I needed to hear what he said, how he operated, what words he used to poison marriages. My phone buzzed. Text from my husband. Parking now. See you in lobby. I took a breath, checked my reflection in the rearview mirror. I looked tired. I was tired, hadn't slept properly in 5 days. You can do this, I whispered to myself, then walked inside. My husband was waiting by the elevator. He smiled when he saw me, reached for my hand. Ready.
Ready.
We rode the elevator to the 5th floor, found Dr. Stevens' office. Waiting room decorated in soothing blues and grays. Soft music playing. The kind of space designed to make people feel safe. Safe enough to share their secrets. A door opened. Dr. Stevens stepped out. Same warm smile from his website photo. 50s, silver hair, expensive suit, welcoming presence. Lisa and David. So glad you're here. Come in. His office was exactly what I expected. Comfortable chairs, bookshelves full of psychology texts, framed credentials on the wall, a tissue box on the side table, the same tissue box I had in my office. We sat on the couch. Dr. Stevens sat across from us in a leather chair, pulled out a notepad. So, tell me what brings you in. My husband looked at me. I'd asked for this appointment, my job to start. We've been married 11 years, I said. Good marriage. But lately, I feel like we're drifting apart. Dr. Stevens nodded. Writing notes. Drifting apart. Can you give me an example?
We used to talk. Really talk. Now we just coordinate schedules. Who's picking up groceries? Who's paying what bill? We're roommates, not partners.
David, Dr. Stevens turned to my husband. Do you feel the same way? My husband shifted beside me. I guess. I mean, we're both busy. Lisa works a lot. I work a lot. It's normal, right? Is it normal? Dr. Stevens asked. Or have you accepted distance as normal because addressing it feels too hard? The question hung in the air. My husband frowned. I don't think I've accepted anything. I think we're just busy. Busy, Dr. Stevens repeated. Writing. Busy can be a form of avoidance. We fill our lives with tasks to avoid dealing with emotional disconnect. I watched him work, watched how he took my husband's simple explanation and reframed it as pathology. David, do you feel emotionally connected to Lisa? My husband looked at me. Yeah, of course.
When's the last time you told her that?
Pause. I I don't know. Recently?
Recently. Can you be more specific?
I don't. I tell her. I love her. Love and emotional connection aren't always the same thing. When's the last time you shared something vulnerable with Lisa? Something you were afraid to say? My husband's jaw tightened. I don't know what you mean. I mean real intimacy. Not I love you as a reflex, but actual vulnerability, sharing fears, needs, desires. I'm not I'm not good at that stuff. Dr. Stevens leaned forward. And how does that make you feel, Lisa? Knowing David struggles to be emotionally open with you. This was it. This was how he operated. Take a normal marriage dynamic partner who's less emotionally expressive and turn it into a fatal flaw. It's frustrating sometimes, I said carefully, but I understand. David processes things differently than I do. Frustrating. Dr. Stevens wrote that down. Do you feel like David understands your emotional needs? Trap question. If I say yes, I'm lying. We wouldn't be in therapy. If I say no, I'm validating his narrative that my husband fails me emotionally. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Like any marriage. Like any marriage, he repeated. Slight smile. But you're here, which suggests the no times are becoming more frequent. Beside me, I felt my husband tense. David, how does it feel to hear that Lisa doesn't always feel understood by you? I'm trying. I work long hours. I'm stressed, but I'm trying. Trying? But is trying enough? Or does Lisa deserve more than effort? Does she deserve actual emotional presence? The air in the room shifted. I watched my husband's face, saw the defensiveness, the frustration, the beginning of resentment, because Dr. Stevens wasn't helping us communicate. He was framing my husband as inadequate. I think what David means, I interjected, is that we're both learning. Marriage is always learning. Dr. Stevens looked at me, really looked at me. For the first time, I saw something flicker in his eyes. Recognition, suspicion. You're very protective of David, he said. I'm his wife. Yes. But sometimes protecting our partner means protecting them from confronting hard truths. Does David need you to defend him, or does he need to hear that he's not meeting your emotional needs? My husband stood up abruptly. I need some air.
David?
I started. Just 5 minutes. I'll be right back. He walked out, door closed behind him. I sat there with Dr. Stevens, silence stretched between us. This is hard for him, Dr. Stevens said quietly, confronting the ways he's failed you. He hasn't failed me. Hasn't he? You said yourself you feel like roommates, you're emotionally disconnected. Those are symptoms of a partner who isn't showing up. I looked at this man, this predator in therapist clothing. What do you suggest? I asked. Individual sessions. Sometimes couples therapy works better when each partner has space to process separately. I could see David individually, help him understand his emotional avoidance. And you could continue your individual work with, do you have a therapist? I'm a therapist? His expression didn't change, but something in the room shifted. You're a therapist.
Licensed marriage and family therapist. 18 years.
And you came to me. Even therapists need therapy. He smiled, nodded. Of course. Well, that makes this easier. You understand the process. You know that sometimes marriages need to be deconstructed before they can be rebuilt.
Deconstructed.
Interesting word choice. How many sessions do you usually recommend? I asked. Depends on the couple. Some need 12 weeks. Some need 6 months. I'll know more after a few sessions. My husband came back in, sat down, apologized. It's okay, Dr. Stevens said warmly. This is a safe space. You can feel whatever you feel here. We finished the session with homework. David was supposed to journal about times he felt emotionally disconnected from me. I was supposed to write about my unmet needs. Next week, same time, Dr. Stevens asked. Same time, I agreed. We left, rode the elevator down in silence, got to the parking garage. That was brutal, my husband said. First session usually is. He made me sound like a terrible husband. You're not. Then why did I feel like shit the entire time? I looked at him. Really looked at him. My husband. Imperfect. Emotionally reserved sometimes, but good. Loyal. Present in his own way. Dr. Stevens had spent 60 minutes making him feel inadequate. It's just therapy, I said. It gets worse before it gets better. But I was lying. Because it wasn't going to get better. Dr. Stevens wasn't trying to fix our marriage. He was trying to break it. And I'd just given him permission to start. That night, I listened to the recording. Heard Dr. Stevens' voice, the way he reframed everything David said as failure, the way he positioned me as the victim of my husband's emotional inadequacy. Classic manipulation. Textbook. But so subtle that if I wasn't a therapist myself, I might not have noticed. I transcribed the session, highlighted patterns. Does Lisa deserve more than effort? Protecting them from confronting hard truths. Symptoms of a partner who isn't showing up. Every statement designed to create doubt. Resentment. Distance. I needed more sessions. Needed to see how he escalated. But I also needed to know about Marcus and Vanessa. How did they enter the picture? I spent the next 3 days digging into Marcus Webb's background. Found his college records. University of Washington, graduated 2002, same year as Dr. Stevens. Roommates? I couldn't confirm, but likely. Marcus's business, a software startup, was moderately successful, but not enough to fund his lifestyle. The Instagram photos showed expensive restaurants, luxury trips, designer clothes. Real estate agent kickbacks could explain that. I also looked deeper into Vanessa Royce's sales. She'd sold 14 properties in the past 2 years, all to recently divorced men, all high-value sales. Average commission, $112,000 per year from divorced men alone. And all 14 men had one thing in common. They'd been in therapy. I couldn't prove they'd all seen Dr. Stevens' medical privacy laws prevented that, but I could see patterns in their social media. 7 of the 14 followed Dr. Stevens on LinkedIn. 10 followed Marcus Webb. All 14 followed Vanessa Royce. This wasn't just 5 marriages. This was at least 14, maybe more that I hadn't found yet. Our second session was the following Tuesday. This time, Dr. Stevens suggested we start separately.
David, why don't you wait in the lobby? I'd like to talk to Lisa alone first.
My husband looked relieved. Left the office. Dr. Stevens turned to me. How was your week? Fine. Did you do the homework? Write about your unmet needs? I pulled out a notebook. I'd written something. Vague enough to be believable, specific enough to give him material. I wrote that I feel lonely sometimes, even when David's home. Like we exist in parallel but don't actually connect. Dr. Stevens nodded. Reading my words. Lonely? That's painful. How long have you felt this way? A year? Maybe longer? And what do you think David would say if you told him this? He'd try to fix it, but fixing and understanding aren't the same thing. No, they're not. He put down my notebook, looked at me directly. Lisa, can I be honest with you? Please. I think you've been carrying the emotional weight of this marriage alone for a long time, and I think part of you is exhausted, maybe even resentful. I said nothing. It's okay to admit that. It's okay to acknowledge that you might be happier without the burden of someone who can't meet you where you are. There it was, the seed. I don't want a divorce, I said. I didn't say divorce, I said happier. Sometimes those are the same thing, sometimes they're not. You think I'd be happier divorced. I think you'd be happier with someone who understands you, who shows up emotionally, who doesn't make you feel lonely in your own marriage. I sat there, let the words hang, then said, have you ever had a client who felt this way, who stayed in the marriage and regretted it? Many. And did any of them find happiness another way? He smiled. Slight? Knowing. Some did. After they stopped protecting their partner's feelings and started protecting their own. How? They opened themselves to the possibility that their marriage wasn't the only option, that there were people out there who could give them what they needed. Affair? I don't recommend affairs, but I also don't judge people for seeking connection when they're starving for it at home. Bait? Clear bait? I've never cheated on David. I believe you. But have you thought about it? No.
Never.
Pause. Everyone has fleeting thoughts, or sustained fantasies about what life could be like with someone else. I looked at him, this man who made a living destroying marriages. Sometimes I wonder, I said quietly, if I'm wasting my life. His eyes brightened, just slightly. That's a very honest thing to admit, and very brave. Brave. He called it brave. And what should I do with that feeling? I asked. First, acknowledge it. You're not happy. Second, ask yourself what would make you happy. And third, give yourself permission to pursue that happiness, even if it means disappointing David, even if it means ending my marriage. Even then, we sat in silence. Then he said, I have a friend, Marcus. He runs a support group for people going through marriage difficulties. It's informal, just people who understand what you're going through. Would you be interested? There it was, the introduction. Is it therapy? I asked. No, just community. People who get it. Sometimes it helps to talk to someone who isn't your therapist or your spouse, just people going through divorce.
Divorce, separation, marriage problems, all of it. Marcus is very good at creating safe spaces for people to be honest about their struggles.
I pretended to think about it. Maybe. Can I think about it? Of course. No pressure. But I think you'd benefit. And Marcus is... He smiled. He's good at reminding people that there's life after difficult marriages. After the session, I sat in my car, hands shaking. Dr. Stevens had just spent 30 minutes telling me my marriage was making me miserable, that I deserved better, that I should open myself to possibilities, and then introduced me to Marcus, the friend who would introduce me to Vanessa. This was how it worked. Isolate, validate, introduce, make the wife feel unseen by her husband. Introduce her to a support group where she meets attractive, available men who understand her. Or make the husband feel inadequate. Introduce him to Marcus, who understands what it's like to be unappreciated. Then Marcus introduces him to Vanessa, who makes him feel desired again. Either way, the marriage ends. And Vanessa sells them a house. I had to meet Marcus, had to see the next step. But I also had to be careful, because Dr. Stevens was watching me now. He knew I was a therapist. That made me dangerous, someone who might see through his manipulation. Unless he thought I was vulnerable enough to fall for it anyway. I went home, my husband was making dinner. How'd your solo session go? He asked. Fine. He wants us to do some individual work, processed separately.
Did he make you feel like shit too?
I looked at my husband, stirring pasta, humming quietly to himself, unaware that a predator was circling our marriage. A little, I said. This guy kind of sucks. Yeah. Do we have to keep seeing him? And there it was, the question. Did we keep seeing him, keep putting my marriage at risk to catch him? Or did we walk away? Let other marriages burn while we stayed safe.
Let's give it a few more sessions, I said. Sometimes therapy feels worse before it helps.
My husband sighed. Okay, if you think it'll help. I didn't think it would help. I thought it would nearly destroy us. But 5 women had trusted Dr. Stevens, 5 marriages had ended, 5 families shattered. Someone had to stop him, even if it meant risking everything I loved to do it. That night, I got an email from Dr. Stevens. Subject line, Marcus's group info. Body, Lisa, I mentioned Marcus's support group during our session. He's hosting a gathering this Thursday at 7 p.m. Coffee shop in Capitol Hill, very casual. I think you'd find it helpful. Let me know if you're interested and I'll send you the details. Dr. Stevens. I stared at the email. This was it, the next step.
Meet Marcus. Meet the support group. Meet whoever else was being groomed for affairs and expensive real estate purchases.
I typed back. I'll be there, thank you. His response came 30 seconds later. Wonderful. Marcus is looking forward to meeting you. I closed my laptop
Looked at my husband, sleeping beside me.
and wondered if I'd just made the biggest mistake of my life. Thursday arrived. I told my husband I had a late appointment. Not exactly a lie. This was an appointment, just not the kind he thought. The coffee shop was in Capitol Hill. Cozy, quiet, perfect for support group meetings. I arrived at 6:55 p.m., ordered tea, sat in the corner. At 7:02, Marcus Webb walked in. Exactly like his photos, mid-40s, expensive casual clothes, confident walk, the kind of man who commanded a room without trying. He scanned the coffee shop, saw me, smiled.
Walked over.
Lisa?
Marcus, Dr. Stevens told me about you. I'm glad you came. He sat down, ordered coffee from the barista who clearly knew him. So he said, turning back to me, "How are you holding up?" "I'm okay." "Are you, though? Dr. Stevens mentioned you're struggling. Marriage problems." "Direct, no pretense." "It's complicated," I said. "Marriage always is. That's why I started this group. People need a space to be honest about how hard it is." "How many people usually come?" "Depends on the week, 4 to 6, sometimes more. All people working through relationship stuff. Some are separated. Some are still trying to make it work. Some are exploring their options." "Exploring their options? And you? Are you married?" He smiled. "Divorced. 3 years now. Best decision I ever made." "That bad?" "Not bad. Just wrong. We weren't right for each other. Took me too long to admit it. Now I help other people avoid my mistakes. By encouraging them to leave their marriages." His expression shifted, slightly more guarded. "I don't encourage anything. I just provide space for people to be honest about what they want. Sometimes what they want is to stay married, sometimes it's not. Either way, they deserve support." "Dr. Stevens said you're good at reminding people there's life after difficult marriages." "There is. Amazing life, actually, once you stop settling." The door opened. 2 more people walked in. A woman in her 30s, a man about my age. Marcus waved them over. "Sarah, Tom, this is Lisa. First time joining us." They greeted me warmly, sat down. Over the next 20 minutes, 3 more people arrived. 6 total, including me. Marcus started the meeting casually. "So, who wants to share this week?" Sarah went first, talking about her separation, how freeing it felt, how much lighter she felt without her ex-husband's constant criticism. Tom talked about his divorce being finalized, how he was dating again, how much better he felt with someone who actually appreciated him. Each story, the same theme. Marriage was burden, freedom was liberation, life after divorce was better. No one talked about grief, loss, the complexity of ending a marriage, just celebration of leaving, validation of discontent. I shared minimally, said I was struggling, felt disconnected, wasn't sure what I wanted. Marcus listened, nodded sympathetically. "That uncertainty is normal," he said. "You've been taught that marriage is forever, that leaving is failure. But what if staying in something that makes you miserable is the real failure?" The group murmured agreement. "You deserve to be happy, Lisa," Sarah said. "Don't settle for less." After the meeting ended, Marcus pulled me aside. "How are you feeling? Was this helpful?" It was interesting. Good, interesting, or overwhelming interesting. "I'm not sure yet." He smiled. "That's honest. Listen, we do this every Thursday, but I also grab coffee with people one-on-one sometimes. If you ever want to talk, no pressure, just support." "Thank you." "And Lisa," he pulled out his phone. "I know someone who might be helpful for you to talk to. She's been through similar stuff, very insightful. Would you be open to meeting her?" "Who is she?" "Friend of mine, Vanessa. She's a real estate agent, but she's also just good people. Been through her own divorce, really understands the journey."
There was.
Vanessa. "Sure," I said. "I'd be open to that." "Great. I'll connect you too." I drove home that night feeling sick because I'd just watched Marcus work. Watched him create an echo chamber of divorce positivity. Watched him validate every doubt, every frustration, every fleeting thought of leaving. And then introduce Vanessa, the woman who would become the affair, the woman who would sell the house, the woman who would complete the scheme. I pulled into my driveway, sat in the car. My husband was inside, probably watching TV, unaware that I'd just spent 2 hours in a group designed to make me leave him. I felt dirty, complicit, but I also felt closer to proof. One more step, meet Vanessa, see how she operated. Then I'd have the full picture. Then I could destroy all of them. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Hi, Lisa. Marcus gave me your number. I'd love to grab coffee this week if you're free. Looking forward to meeting you. Vanessa. I stared at the message. The trap was closing. The question was, could I spring it before I got caught in it myself? I met Vanessa on Saturday. She suggested a wine bar in Fremont. Upscale, intimate, the kind of place where people have conversations they don't want overheard. She was already there when I arrived, sitting at a corner table, more beautiful in person than in her photos, mid-30s, blonde, elegant in a way that looked effortless, but probably wasn't. Lisa, so great to finally meet you. She stood, hugged me like we were old friends. We ordered wine, made small talk. She asked about my work. I kept it vague. Then she leaned forward, voice soft, conspiratorial. Marcus told me you're going through a hard time. Marriage stuff. Yeah, I've been there. It's brutal. The worst part is feeling like you're the only one who sees the problems. That's exactly it, I said. My husband thinks everything's fine. They always do. Men are so oblivious. They think as long as you're not screaming at them, everything's great. She took a sip of wine. Can I ask, do you love him? The question caught me off guard. Yes, I think so. You think so? Or you know so? I paused. And in that pause, something shifted. Because the truth was, I didn't know anymore. 3 weeks of Dr. Stevens picking apart my marriage. 3 weeks of Marcus's group celebrating divorce. 3 weeks of questioning everything. And somewhere in that process, the lines had blurred. Was my marriage actually fine? Or had I been lying to myself? I don't know, I said quietly. Vanessa reached across the table, touched my hand. It's okay not to know. That's why I wanted to meet you, because I remember that feeling, that confusion, and I want to tell you, it gets better once you stop pretending.
How long were you married?
8 years. Divorced 3 years ago. Best decision I ever made.
Do you regret it? Ever? Never. Not once. You know why? Because I stopped settling. I started living for me. And Lisa, she squeezed my hand. You deserve that too. I don't even know what I want. Yes, you do. You just haven't given yourself permission to admit it. We talked for 2 hours. She told me about her marriage, how controlling her ex was, how small she felt, how divorce set her free. Every story perfectly calibrated to mirror struggles Dr. Stevens had been amplifying in my sessions. It wasn't accidental. This was coordinated. Stevens plants the seeds. Marcus waters them. Vanessa harvests. I have a client meeting tomorrow, Vanessa said as we were leaving. But I'm showing a gorgeous condo in Queen Anne on Tuesday. Want to come? Sometimes seeing beautiful spaces helps you imagine different futures. A condo showing? I know it sounds random, but trust me, there's something powerful about walking through a space that could be yours. No husband, no compromises, just you. I should have said no, should have ended it there. But I said okay, because I needed to see the final step, the moment where she transitioned from friend to real estate agent, from support to sale. She hugged me goodbye. This is just the beginning, Lisa. Your whole life is about to change. I drove home in silence, walked into my house. My husband was reading on the couch. How was coffee with your friend? Fine. He looked up. You okay? You seem off. Just tired. He stood, walked over, put his arms around me. I know therapy has been hard, but I appreciate you trying. I want us to work. I stood there in his arms and felt nothing. Or maybe I felt everything and couldn't process it. Me too, I whispered. But I wasn't sure if I meant it anymore. Sunday night, my husband found the recordings. I'd left my laptop open. Audio files labeled by date. Transcripts in a folder. He stood in my office doorway, holding my laptop. What is this? My blood went cold. David, you recorded our therapy sessions without telling me. I can explain. You've been investigating Dr. Stevens this whole time? Is that what this is? Our marriage is your fucking case study? No, it's not like that. Then what is it like, Lisa? Because I've been sitting in that office for 3 weeks feeling like shit, thinking our marriage is falling apart, and you've been playing detective? I stood up, hands shaking. Dr. Stevens is destroying marriages. I needed proof. Proof? You needed proof? So you used our marriage as bait? I was trying to help people. What about helping us? His voice cracked. What about actually working on our marriage instead of pretending to? I am working on it. No, you're not. You're obsessed with catching this guy. And meanwhile, our actual marriage is falling apart because you're so busy investigating fake problems that you're not seeing the real ones. What real ones? He laughed. Bitter. You don't even see it. You don't see that you're distant, that you're checked out, that you care more about your clients than about me. That's not true. Isn't it? When's the last time we had a real conversation? When's the last time you asked me about my day, my work, anything? I opened my mouth, closed it, because he was right. I'd been so focused on proving Dr. Stevens was sabotaging marriages that I'd stopped paying attention to my own. David, I'm sorry. Are you? Or are you sorry you got caught? He put my laptop down, walked toward the door. Where are you going? I don't know. Out. I need to think.
David.
But he was gone. Door closed. Car started. Drove away. I stood alone in my office, surrounded by evidence of marriages destroyed, while my own marriage crumbled. And the worst part? I wasn't sure if it was Dr. Stevens' manipulation or my own neglect that had done it. I didn't sleep that night. David didn't come home until 2 a.m., slept in the guest room. Morning came. We moved around each other like strangers. Are you going to the condo showing with Vanessa tomorrow? He asked. Voice flat. How did you... Your text messages were open on your laptop, along with everything else. David, it's for the investigation. Right, the investigation. The one that's more important than us. He grabbed his keys. I'm going to work. Can we talk tonight, please? I don't know, Lisa. Can we? Or will you be too busy recording me? He left. I sat at the kitchen table, stared at my cold coffee. My phone buzzed. Text from Dr. Stevens. Session tomorrow at 6 p.m. Would love to check in on how you're doing. I stared at the message. Part of me wanted to cancel everything. Stop the investigation. Focus on my actual marriage. But 5 women had trusted him. 14 men had lost fortunes. Families destroyed. And now my own marriage was collapsing too. Maybe Dr. Stevens was right. Maybe I'd been neglecting David for years. Maybe our problems were real. Or maybe that's exactly what Stevens wanted me to think. The manipulation was working. Even knowing what he was doing, it was working. I texted back, see you tomorrow. Then texted Vanessa, still on for the condo showing. Her response came immediately. Can't wait. This is going to be so good for you. The condo was stunning. 15th floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Elliott Bay. Modern. Sleek. Empty of anything except possibility. Vanessa walked me through each room, talking about features, light, space. 2 bedrooms, one could be your office. Imagine waking up to this view every morning. Just you, your coffee, your thoughts, no one else's needs to manage. I stood at the window, looking out at the water. It's beautiful. It could be yours. The owner is motivated. We could get it for $1.2 million, maybe less.
That's a lot of money.
Divorce settlement would cover most of it. And Lisa, she stood beside me. This isn't just about the condo. It's about claiming your life back. I turned to face her. You do this a lot. Show condos to women leaving their marriages. Her smile faltered. Just for a second. I help people transition. Find spaces that fit their new lives. And Marcus refers them to you.
Marcus is a friend. He knows I understand what people are going through.
And Dr. Stevens? Does he refer clients to you too? She stepped back. I don't know what you mean. I think you do. I think Dr. Stevens sabotages marriages in therapy. Marcus introduces the husband or wife to support groups. You befriend them, get them to buy expensive properties, and you all split the commission. Her face went cold. That's quite an accusation. Is it? Because I've tracked 14 property sales, all to recently divorced men, all clients of Dr. Stevens, all introduced to you through Marcus. Total commissions over $1.5 million. She crossed her arms. I'm a successful real estate agent. People get divorced. Some of them buy houses. That's not a conspiracy. What about the marriages that end specifically because Dr. Stevens tells them to? What about the husbands he convinces they're inadequate? The wives he tells are wasting their lives?
You're paranoid.
Am I? Or am I a therapist who sees exactly what another therapist is doing? Vanessa pulled out her phone, typed something, put it away. I think you should leave. I'm going to report this. All of it. The licensing board, the FBI, if the fraud is federal. She smiled. Sharp. Good luck proving it. You have what? Suspicious patterns? Coincidences? That's not evidence. I have recordings. Illegal recordings. Washington is two-party consent. Anything you recorded without permission is inadmissible. And even if it wasn't, what did Dr. Stevens actually say? That you deserve to be happy? That your marriage has problems? That's not fraud. That's therapy. She walked toward the door, opened it. I think we're done here. I left, got in my car, hands shaking, because she was right. Everything I had was circumstantial. Patterns, suspicions, recordings I couldn't use in court, no proof of coordination, no emails explicitly planning the scheme, no money trail I could access without subpoena power. I had nothing that would hold up, unless I could get one of them to confess. My session with Dr. Stevens that evening was different. He knew. Somehow he knew I'd confronted Vanessa. How are you, Lisa? Fine. Are you? Vanessa mentioned you two had coffee. Said it went well. It was interesting. She also mentioned you asked some unusual questions about her business, her relationship with Marcus. I met his eyes. I'm a curious person.
Curious or suspicious?
Maybe both. He leaned back in his chair, studied me. Lisa, I'm going to be direct. Are you here for therapy, or are you here investigating me? Can't it be both? No, it can't. Because if you're investigating me, then you're not actually working on your marriage. You're using me, using this process. Like you use your clients? His expression didn't change. I don't use my clients. I help them see truths they're avoiding. Truths or doubts you plant. You think I'm sabotaging marriages. I think you're very good at making people believe their marriages are worse than they are, then conveniently introducing them to people who benefit from those marriages ending. He was quiet for a long moment. Then, prove it. What? Prove it. You clearly believe I'm running some scheme. So prove it. Show me evidence. Show me victims. Show me anything other than paranoid speculation. I pulled out my folder, the one I'd been building for 3 weeks. 5 of my clients saw you for couples therapy. All 5 marriages ended. All 5 ex-husbands bought houses from Vanessa Royce. Total sales $12.6 million. Total commissions approximately $378,000. Split 3 ways with you and Marcus, that's $126,000 each. He looked at the papers. No surprise on his face. So 5 marriages failed. That's sad. But marriages fail all the time. And if those men happen to buy houses from the same real estate agent, that's coincidence, not conspiracy. Is it coincidence that Marcus introduces people to Vanessa specifically? Marcus is friends with Vanessa. He recommends her. That's called networking. And the therapy sessions, where you tell husbands they're inadequate, wives they're wasting their lives, I tell people the truth about their relationships. If they choose to end their marriages based on that truth, that's their decision, not mine. He stood up. Lisa, I think you're projecting. Your marriage is struggling. You know it. David knows it. And instead of dealing with that, you're creating a conspiracy theory where I'm the villain. My marriage is struggling because you're neglecting it. Because you care more about being right than being happy. Because you're so obsessed with finding villains that you've become one yourself. The words hit like a slap. You recorded our sessions without consent. You lied to your husband about why you're in therapy. You've been using your own marriage as bait in some investigation you can't even prove. And now you're sitting here accusing me of manipulation when you're the one manipulating everyone around you. I couldn't breathe, because part of what he said was true. I'm trying to help people. No, you're trying to be a hero, and you're destroying your real life to do it. He opened the door. I think our sessions should end. You're not here to work on your marriage, and I can't help someone who doesn't want help. I stood, walked to the door, stopped. I know what you're doing, and I'm gonna stop you. Good luck, Lisa. You're going to need it. I left his office, rode the elevator down, got to my car, sat in the parking garage, and broke down crying. Because maybe he was right. Maybe I'd destroyed my own marriage chasing shadows. Maybe David was right. Maybe I'd neglected him for years. Maybe my investigation wasn't saving anyone. Maybe it was just ruining everything. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Hello?
Dr. Hartwell, this is Catherine Wu. We worked together last year after my divorce.
I wiped my eyes. Catherine, hi, how are you? I need to tell you something. I just got a call from Dr. Stevens' office. They want me to sign a non-disclosure agreement. They're offering me $50,000 to not talk about my therapy experience. My pulse spiked. What? They said it's routine, for privacy protection. But Dr. Hartwell, why would they offer me money to stay quiet unless there's something to hide? Don't sign it. Catherine, don't sign anything. I won't. But there's more. I talked to Jennifer Morrison. She got the same call, same offer. $50,000 for silence. Stevens was trying to buy silence, which meant he was scared, which meant I was close. Catherine, would you be willing to talk to the licensing board, tell them your experience? Yes, absolutely. If he's doing to other people what he did to me, he needs to be stopped. I called Jennifer next, then Amanda, then Sarah, then Rebecca. All 5 women, all 5 willing to file complaints, all 5 willing to testify. Suddenly, I had more than circumstantial evidence. I had victims willing to speak. I spent the next week coordinating with the Washington State Department of Health, filed formal complaints against Dr. Stevens, included testimonies from all 5 women, included financial records showing the property sales, included everything. The investigator assigned to the case, Sandra Kim, called me after reviewing the evidence. Dr. Hartwell, this is one of the most disturbing cases I've seen. If what you're alleging is true, Dr. Stevens has violated every ethics code we have. Can you investigate? We're opening a formal investigation. I'll need access to his client records, session notes, any communication with Marcus Webb or Vanessa Royce. This will take months, maybe a year. A year? How many more marriages will he destroy in a year? I understand your frustration, but we have to build a case that will hold up, one that his lawyers can't dismantle. She paused. Dr. Hartwell, I have to ask, are you okay? Your own marriage therapy with Dr. Stevens, has that affected you personally? I thought about David, about the guest room he'd been sleeping in for 2 weeks, about the distance between us that might be real or might be manufactured. I don't know anymore, I said honestly. That's what makes this so insidious. He gets in your head, makes you question everything, even when you know what he's doing. After I hung up, I went home. David was in the kitchen. We'd barely spoken in 2 weeks. I filed the complaint, I said, against Dr. Stevens. Official investigation. He nodded. Didn't look at me. Good. David, I'm sorry for everything, for using our marriage, for neglecting you, for all of it. Are you sorry? Or are you just saying that because Stevens said it first? I don't know the difference anymore. He finally looked at me. That's the problem, Lisa. You've been playing detective for so long that you've forgotten how to just be my wife. I know. I want to fix that. Do you? Or do you want to fix me because it's another problem to solve?
I didn't have an answer.
He sighed. I'm staying at a hotel for a while. I need space to think. David, Lisa, I love you, but I don't know if that's enough anymore. And I don't know if you even want it to be. He packed a bag, left, and I sat alone in my house, surrounded by evidence of destroyed marriages, including my own. The investigation took 8 months. 8 months of Sandra Kim interviewing clients, subpoenaing records, tracing money. 8 months of me sleeping alone. David and I separated officially after 3 months. Divorce papers filed after 6. Not because Dr. Stevens sabotaged us, but because maybe he just accelerated something that was already dying. Or maybe I'd killed it myself by prioritizing the investigation over my actual marriage. I'd never know for sure. The state board hearing was scheduled for March. Dr. Stevens, Marcus Webb, and Vanessa Royce were all subpoenaed. I sat in the hearing room, watched as Sandra presented evidence. 28 complaints from former clients, not just my 5. 28 people who'd seen patterns, who'd been offered money to stay quiet. Financial records showing $2.4 million in coordinated real estate sales over 4 years. Emails between Stevens and Marcus discussing successful referrals. A recorded conversation between Marcus and Vanessa where they discussed splitting a commission. Not as much as I'd hoped, but enough. Dr. Stevens sat at his table with his lawyer, face impassive, confident, until they played the recording. Marcus's voice, Steven sent another one my way. Wife's ready to leave. I'll introduce her to V next week. Vanessa's voice, what's the property budget?
Marcus, husband's a doctor. $3 million range. Your commission alone would be $90K.
Vanessa, and Stevens gets his cut? Marcus, 20%, like always. The room went silent. Stevens's lawyer asked for recess. They huddled, whispered urgently. When the hearing resumed, Stevens's lawyer stood. My client would like to surrender his license voluntarily in exchange for no criminal charges.
Sandra Kim shook her head. The state has already referred this case to the FBI for wire fraud investigation. Voluntary surrender doesn't prevent criminal prosecution.
3 months later, Dr. Stevens was arrested. Marcus and Vanessa followed. The charges: conspiracy to commit fraud, wire fraud, racketeering, theft by deception, across 47 marriages over 4 years, $8.2 million in fraudulent real estate commissions. The trial lasted 3 weeks. I testified. So did all 28 victims. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. Guilty on all counts. Dr. Stevens got 15 years federal prison. Marcus got 12 years. Vanessa got 10 years. All 3 banned from their professions. All 3 ordered to pay restitution to victims. I should have felt triumph, victory, justice. Instead, I felt empty, because justice didn't save my marriage. David and I finalized our divorce while Stevens awaited sentencing. 11 years together. Ended. Not because of Stevens, but because I'd been so focused on saving other marriages that I'd forgotten to save my own.
2 years later, I did something I swore I'd never do.
I opened a new practice, not traditional therapy, something different. The Marriage Defense Project.
Free counseling for couples who'd been manipulated by unethical therapists.
Training for therapists on recognizing and preventing predatory practices. Advocacy for stronger licensing oversight. And a hotline for people who suspected their therapist was sabotaging their relationship. We helped 340 couples in the first year, prevented 89 divorces, exposed 6 other predatory therapists. It didn't bring David back. We were both with other people now, moved on. But sometimes he'd email, say he was proud of what I'd built, that the work mattered, and it did matter. Because Dr. Richard Stevens destroyed 47 marriages for $8.2 million, but he didn't destroy the 48th. He didn't destroy mine. I did that myself. And maybe that was the hardest lesson of all, that sometimes the villain isn't the manipulator. Sometimes it's the hero who's so obsessed with catching them that she forgets what she's fighting for. I'm Dr. Lisa Hartwell. I'm 44 years old now, divorced, running the Marriage Defense Project. Dr. Stevens is in federal prison in California, 12 years left on his sentence. Marcus is in Oregon, 10 years left. Vanessa is in Washington, 8 years left. The 47 couples they destroyed, some remarried, some stayed broken, some found new happiness. My marriage, gone. But my mission, stronger than ever. If this story resonated with you, subscribe to The Quiet Reckoning. This is where we tell stories about the cost of justice, about the price of being right, about the marriages we save, and the ones we lose along the way. Drop a comment. If your therapist made you doubt your relationship, would you question them or yourself? Because there are more predators out there, more marriages at risk, and more people who need to know manipulation doesn't always look like abuse. Sometimes it looks like therapy. I'm Dr. Lisa Hartwell, and I stopped a marriage killer. But I couldn't save my own marriage in the process. That's the quiet reckoning. Not every hero gets a happy ending, but they can still save lives, even if they can't save their own.